All right, Gloomhaven enthusiasts. The question. This is actually from a buddy who has been intrigued by our Gloomhaven gaming sessions, thinking about jumping in with some things. And I couldn't give him a definitive answer. I could really give him two answers, and they really weren't very helpful answers. So he's like, Fritz, tap into the audience here. Tap into your secret weapon. You guys out there in the board gaming community, wargaming community, D&D community, the ideas that you bounce off me and the links and the suggestions you've made have been amazing. They've been fantastic. So it's like, okay, let's just turn this over to the secret weapon and see what they think about this. You're thinking about jumping into Gloomhaven right now. So the question is I was going to say Gloomhaven 2.0. It's more like Frosthaven. With that looming on the horizon, it's been confirmed. It's sooner rather than later. It's still going to be a little whiles out. Do you jump in on Gloomhaven right now and forget about Frosthaven? Or do you jump in on Gloomhaven right now and then see what happens at some point? Or do you say, look, do I jump into Frosthaven on there and play in there? So we're kicking back some ideas. And my first thought was, you could jump into Gloomhaven right now. Do I think you would be able to complete that in time for Frosthaven? Meaning, if you jump in right now for Gloomy and you go in with Frosthaven, by the time it hits the stores and you pick it up and you've got it, will you have completed Gloomhaven? Probably not. And I don't think you could juggle both because they're so massive on there. And that's just Gloomhaven core. That's the insane thing about Gloomhaven. The missions are good. The exploration is amazing. The unlock is amazing. The choices are amazing. On there, you've got the map. The world evolves. You upgrade your cards. It's a legacy type game. You're like, this is crazy. Who thought about this game? Like, crazy. Intelligence level 20 or 25 on the D&D scale on there with it. And that's just the core. Then you've got the small box expansion. You've got fan-created content. You've got PDFs that have been released from both Kickstarter campaigns that are out there. No joke, no exaggeration. If I had to take one game with me, it would be Gloomhaven. And I could play that for years and years and years. I could just keep Gloomhaven permanently set up on there. And that's it. That's it. There's so much out there. So I think it would be unrealistic to say jumping into Gloomhaven. I don't think it's not just something you jump into. It's not something that you're going to be able to complete in time for 2.0 Frosthaven on there. The second part of me is like, if you don't jump right now, because there's no sense of urgency. And I mean, we could play my copy of Gloomy in the meantime. Might make more sense to jump into Frosthaven first, and then when ready, I don't know, a year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now, jump back to the other one. And the reason why I say that is right now Gloomhaven has had a chance to mature. It's had a chance to put out content on there. So you step in and again, you're like, okay, I've got the core, I've got the expansion, I've got the fan content, I've got the Kickstarter content, I've got other released content on there. It's overwhelming in a good way, but it's all out there. There is an excitement to jump in on a brand new system because as stuff is released, you're literally living it and playing it on there. So it would be cool to jump in to Frosthaven, and then as new content's released, you're caught up because you've been playing through the core of that along the way. As PDFs are released or expansions, like you're jumping in on that and that and that. That's really intriguing to not be totally overwhelmed, yet at the same time be on the cutting edge of what's being released and literally in that moment on forums and gaming groups and with your friends and YouTube videos, being a part of that excitement. And I kind of know what it's like to miss out on that excitement because Lord of the Rings, a living card game, I love it. It's fantastic. It's out of control. The collection, it's got to stop. But I jumped into that way late, maybe 2 years ago? I got to look, maybe 3 years ago. So yes, there was a lot of fun content to catch up on. And yes, I had my pick of how I wanted to build out my decks and what adventure paths, big boxes, small boxes, the Gen Con adventure packs. Like, yeah, I was like, wow, I can pick exactly what I want. But looking through the forums and being a part of the community, I missed out on the excitement of like, okay, next month is this new release. Here it is. And picking it up in that moment and playing through it and communicating, facilitating real time with the gaming community on forums and YouTube. I missed out kind of on that magic a little bit on there. So jumping in on a system that's going to be massive and newly released, there might be some value in waiting for a little while and just trying to see, okay, if I can contain myself till this gets released, I'll clear my backlog of some other games that I need to play, get out of my system, so when that physically drops on my dining room table and I'm ready to start playing, I'm in there. So those are my two answers, where it was like, look, there's a ton of Gloomhaven content out there right now. Jump into Gloomy, play it, and 2 to 3 years when you're done, jump into that, 2.0. Or, hey, be a part of the Genesis. Be a part of, it's not a reboot, it's a continuation. But be a part of that community fresh. That's really intriguing too. And that's definitely not an answer. My buddy was like, Fritz, that's like what? We're looking for like binary, 1 or 0, because you definitely can't do both. You definitely cannot do both because the content overload is impossible on there. I mean, I guess you could buy one and stash it away for a few years. But your thoughts on that, Gloomhaven enthusiasts, Gloomhaven players, and I just got pumped right now thinking about this. I just got pumped right now. I'm like, I got to get back. Not that I left, but I got to start diving into Gloomhaven again. Like that's just has to happen immediately. Absolutely. On there. An amazing system, an amazing game, and just, yes, keep that content rolling.